Hello and welcome to another game review. I am Dragoonxls and this is the review of The Secret World. Let me begin by asking a question. Imagine, if you will, a world where everything is true. Spirits, monsters, demons, conspiracy theories, everything. And now, you are chosen to pick a side and fight against the darkness or die. That is The Secret World at its simplest. So, what is The Secret World exactly? Well, it is an MMO that takes place during modern times where the world shifts over to chaos as a mysterious entity known as the Filth tries to corrupt the world, thus bringing out the secret world into the light. Demons, monsters, zombies, even gods are reacting to all of this, and the world needs help. The goddess Gaia has chosen many people to be her protector, and you are one of those people. You wake up in the middle of the night from a strange dream and you realize that you have powers. But of course, that's when you have to make your decision. You get an invitation to one of the secret societies, the Templar, the Illuminati, and the Dragon. You pick a side, slowly, your story unfolds as you dig deep into the world's history of the occult. The Secret World's story is very, very well written, and intriguing as all get out as you explore the three main locations, Maine, Egypt, and Romania. Each of these locations have a unique story as you learn more about each character there, be it a human or something straight out of legends and myths. It really is cool to see these locations that have this deep lore and understanding of each being, as the dev team really got it right. They did their research and ran with it. If you're like me and love story-rich games, you'll find yourself saying, "Oh man, just one more quest and I'm done," about 3 or 4 times before you actually stop, and it's that interesting. However, as you explore these areas, you might get your stories mixed up as you pick up side quests on your way through the story. These side quests all have a different story to tell, and it can get pretty overwhelming at points, so keep that in mind as you play through. If you do, that is. Overall, the story for The Secret World is one worth exploring every inch as you travel the world and learn more about the ancient history and the like. I know for a fact I wasn't disappointed with it. On to the gameplay. The gameplay of The Secret World is very interesting and it doesn't have this simple formula like most MMOs. In most MMOs, you stay in one place and fight using your skills on your keyboard and such. Well, in The Secret World, it's similar to that, but it really emphasizes on movement. If you fight and move, you can actually dodge attacks and get the upper hand on your enemies. Now, some of you might be asking, what classes are available? Well, that's one thing. That's the thing. There is no such thing as a class in this game. You can build your character the way you see fit. There are a total of 525 abilities that you can learn, each and every single one if you so desire. If you aren't sure of what you want at first, there's some good news here. You can actually pick a deck. A deck is a preset of skills that help guide you to where you're looking for. Plus, you get some pretty sweet looking outfits as you unlock these skills and get these decks. Now, as for the weapons in the game, you have a total of 9 weapons in total to choose from. 3 of each part of the trifecta, melee, range, and magic. You can carry 2 of the 9 weapons to make your own unique build as you progress through your journey. I have messed with every single type of weapon, but personally I choose pistols and swords because I like doing damage and that's a great way to do it. Shoot up some enemies from afar, and they come closer to you, I just bring out my sword and fight them. Now, when you start a weapon, they build up resources like rogues do in WoW. You get 5 resources, then you can do major damage with a certain skill. My build allows me to build both range and melee sources at the same time when I'm doing range damage, and to concentrate on defeating the enemy as quick as possible. But my defense lacks a little, so there's a little bit of a trade in there. You will encounter weaknesses to your character, but learning that is the part of the overall experience and gameplay. You have to think about your weaknesses and your strong suits. Now, in order to level up, and I say that with quotations, you need to gain around, I believe, about 100,000 experience to fill the bar. You first gain 3 AP per bar, and when you fill it, you get 1 SP. So, for example, you gain about 1,000 XP per bar. You get 3 AP per bar, and then when you fill it, you get that 1 SP to go to that, so you can level up your skill with a certain weapon or talisman that you carry for defense and other buffs. It's very easy to understand, as it's just pretty straightforward. It's just very overwhelming at first when you look at the grand scheme of things. Overall, I had loads of fun with each weapon class, and the combat is just great, as you need to think on your feet while you're fighting, and each enemy has a certain way you need to learn how to fight them. You will die often in this game, to be sure, but that's the whole part of the thing. It's like Dark Souls. You learn from your mistakes. Questing in this game is also pretty fun, ranging from kill the series of monsters to actually using investigation skills such as looking things up on the internet to figure out a puzzle. And I don't mean just guides, I mean looking for clues on the internet. Those missions are called investigation missions, and they give you the largest amount of XP out of any sort of quest out there. Trust me when I say this, that it's very worth the trouble, because some investigation missions will take you about an hour or two to actually figure out sometimes. It can get pretty difficult. Now, one problem I do have with the Secret World is the matchmaking. The matchmaking is lacking, to say the least. The system is alright when it comes to the whole thing with the players, but I don't know if it's the whole low population thing, if that's what it is, or if it's just the fact that no one is interested in doing instances, which is weird because that's how you get the best gear in the game. I don't know what that's all about, but I know that Funcom should definitely improve on that. Now, as for the crafting in the game, it's also a bit wonky, as you need to gather certain parts such as fire, water, dust, and so on and so forth with these small materials. Depending on what part you use depends on the stats that's going to come out and the final product of what you make. For example, fire gives damage-based stats, while water gives healer-based stats. A guide is a good idea when you're first exploring the crafting for sure. One thing I do like about the Secret World is the PvP. It can get pretty chaotic at times with 3 factions full of people fighting, but it's nothing short of epic in my eyes. You have 3 battlefields to choose from: El Dorado, Stonehenge, and the Fusang projects. Each map has its own mode to play. El Dorado is somewhat like Capture the Flag, except you gather 3 artifacts and you must keep a hold of them in order to earn points. Stonehenge is a mix between King of the Hill and Team Deathmatch, where you must take over the area and fight off the other factions. Each faction has about 5 players each to each side. And finally, the Fusang projects. The Fusang is a large-scale PvP battleground where each faction has to hold a certain area and fight off other factions while having the help of a golem. The golem is used to take over an area. So you guide it around in order to take over an area, and you have to hold that place so that and defeat the other team's golem in order to take over that area. This battlefield is quite different from the rest, though. You can hop in just about any time and fight. It's persistent, and doing well actually gives buffs for your entire faction on that server, while giving you marks so you can buy new gear as well. So it all works out. It's a win-win for the entire server of your faction, the faction on the server, and yourself. I've had some good fun with each mode, but they all get pretty chaotic as you have to keep pressing tab to move to the next enemy as you fight, and it gets really stressful at times. Still fun though. In short, the combat in this game is fun, fast-paced, with a little quick thinking. You'll come out on top. The questing in this game isn't as bad as most MMOs out there. Because most MMOs out there, it's pretty like cookie cutter. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like if you played WoW, you played them all. But this one is just slightly different, especially with the investigation missions. The questing is just not that bad. It's very rewarding, and it can be loads of fun if you give it some time. Also, fun fact, the game has its own browser for the investigation missions. And also, I have actually ordered pizza off this game. Just game of the year, that's it. Now finally comes the sound and graphics in this game. Honestly, this game's soundtrack isn't that great when it comes to the combat, but when it comes to the ambience, oh my goodness, it nails it greatly. You really can feel the tension in the air when you have high-quality headphones and you walk around tombs and haunted mansions in your adventures. You can hear characters' footsteps, you can hear the crackling of wood and such if you're in a haunted mansion or inside a tomb. You can even hear wailing from the spirits. It's really, really crazy, guys. As for voice acting, it's far from hokey, and it sounds like they're actual people. They really got some talented people for the roles, and it just adds so much more as you progress to the story. They really put their all into it. Like, each character doesn't have a hokey accent. If you're into, like, say, for example, Romania, they actually sound like Romanians. It's that good. Like, it doesn't sound, like, really stupid. It sounds great. And as far as graphics are concerned, it's a very beautiful game in its own right. as the areas look good when it comes to making it look haunted or dangerous. It just, again, it nails it. To sum up, the Secret World sounds great and looks great, especially for an MMO. You might find yourself walking around and admiring the scenery of London or one of the other places that your missions take you. It all looks great, even while you're fighting. Overall, the Secret World is a very fun game with lots to do. It can get very involved sometimes and be quite overwhelming to the new players with a bit of a difficulty curve. The storytelling is spot on, but of course it can be a little confusing at times when you pick up side quests. It's all interesting and can leave you wanting more. The matchmaking, however, does need work, and there's a few more features that I feel like that they could add, like a mentorship feature or something to help out new players that really need it. Overall though, the game is a little rough around the edges, but if you give it enough time and patience, you'll find a gem for certain. The Secret World gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. That's all from me, folks. Remember to like, comment, and share the video with your friends. If you want to see more, remember, also subscribe for more reviews, previews, and Let's Plays. I'm constantly coming out with this kind of stuff. I'm Dragoonxls, signing off, and as always, my friends, keep it stylish and have a wonderful day.